fucking. Hey guys, it's your boy Singe here, and today I have brought another game in front of you. The elevator game with Catgirls. I really don't know what the frick this game is, so let's just dive into it. I don't have any context. I think it's a point and click game, I don't know. It's purely coincidental. This game contains content that may not be appropriate for all ages. Some situation depicted might be disturbing or triggering. Player discretion is advised. There are time choices in the game. They are recommended for a more immersive experience, but if you'd prefer to play without them, you can turn them on or off from the settings menu. Oh, okay. So I guess I have to make choices during a certain duration. On a certain duration. It's a cold winter night. Snow started to fall a couple of hours ago, so the cityscape is littered with a layer of white fluff. It crunches under our feet as we walk down the street.
Ta-da! We're here!
Kieran. That's one tall building. Ominous. I look up to inspect the tall building before us. It's passing midnight, so it's to be expected that most people living here will be asleep by now. Naturally, that also explains why barely any of the windows show any hints of light coming from the inside. Considering why we are here, it only adds to the creepiness of the situation. I've never been a fan of dark places. That didn't change even when I got my feline features. You'd think that being able to see so much more clearly in the dark would make darkness less scary, wouldn't you? Trouble is, I hear so many more little sounds that I couldn't make out before too. And since I'm not sure that all of them are the darks every bit as creepy as it was before, maybe even more so.
So we are. Finally, a response!
Okay, so this is Kirin, and that is Asashi. And who am I? Am I Asashi or what?
I thought you were starting to give me the silent treatment again.
Yep, I'm guessing I am. It's a fault of mine, and one I'm not too proud of. I tend to get lost in my own head sometimes. Well, quite often, really. Thankfully, Kirin is fairly used to it by now. Yep, I am Asashi.
I swear, Kieran, of all the buildings in the city, you just had to choose one which seems super creepy. This has to be the sole residential building in the whole office district. Oh, but you know it couldn't have just been any building. This one is perfect. And by perfect, you mean... meeting the conditions and being less than 10 miles away from our homes.
Yeah, and getting killed by creepy girls in the elevator.
Or are you enjoying our walk in the snow together so much that you'd like to prowl around aimlessly for another hour? Because I don't know about you, but I'm really starting to feel the cold. Was that your plan? So I'd need you to warm me up afterwards? You could have said something, Asahi.
Okay, so... I just stare at her, not really sure what to say. Like, what can you say to such a statement? There's no winning with Kirin when she gets all sly like this. As much as I hate to admit it, it's one of the things I actually like about her.
Oh, why did I sign up for this again?
Because you love me.
Okay, so they're attracted to one another.
Ah, yes. Thank you for reminding me of that questionable fact.
Questionable fact, wow.
Say, do you get the feeling like someone is manipulating someone else for their advantage over here? No? Just me?
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. You know I'm happy you decided to come with me. I'll make it up to you. I promise.
I promise. Promise my ass. I stare at her for a moment longer before I sigh. I really can't argue with her. Not when she's looking at me like that. Like that. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna argue with her when she's looking at me like that. I had a silent crush on this girl for the longest time and never expected to one day find out that the attraction was mutual. Okay, win-win situation, I guess. The fact that we managed to actually get together still feels so unreal sometimes. If it weren't for the fact that the change affected her too, it would probably have never come to this. As much as I disliked it in the beginning, it made me feel like an outcast among my former peers. After all, our shared experience allowed me to be there for her when she needed it most. Okay, I'm gonna start with the accent now. It's a memory. I've always kind. I can't do a girl's voice, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna do the accent. It's a memory I'm always going to cherish, of that I am sure. Yes, I know it's pretty twisted sort of memory to cherish, but how could I not remember it fondly when it brought us together? I breathed warmly on my hands, rubbed them together, and then jammed them deep in my ass pockets. It's not much, but hopefully it will help keep some feeling in my fingertips. Yeah. It's enough to let me focus on things in the here and now, at least, rather than just on how cool it is.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. You get provoked way too easily. You're doing all of this because of the bet with Sapporo, aren't you?
Okay, so she made a bet with somebody, and they're gonna get in trouble now.
Oh, sure, that's one of the reasons.
That's
But
the
not
only
the
reason.
only one. I'm doing it because it's fun.
Nah, that's the only reason.
Fun. Kieran, you've seen the forums. Not a single person out there ever said it was a good idea.
Yes, all those fairy tale stories. Quite tragic, really. Come on, you're not about to tell me you honestly believe those.
Okay, so she looks demonic.
So you mean that you don't?
Asahi. Oh, I thought it was Asashi. It's Asahi. So Asahi will be the one to get the effects right now, because I don't think Kirin will. Well, I am the protagonist. Asahi is the protagonist, so I'm sure the events will revolve around her. Yeah, it's time to delve deep, guys, so you won't.
Seriously, girl, we live in the real world. Spooky, scary skeletons don't just pop out of nowhere because someone decided to be an idiot and press some buttons in a certain way.
I can't believe you, of all people, are still saying that strange, unexplained things don't happen. I mean, you did look in the mirror this morning, right?
This is this, and that is that.
So you don't believe this will actually work. Remind me why we're here again?
We are here to prove a point. Namely, that Sapporo can suck it.
Yep. It's our ego, guys. It's our ego. The ego is going to get her killed.
I honestly can't believe I let you drag me into this.
Chill, Asahi. We suffer the cold for a while longer, nothing happens, and then Sapporo owes me $50. $50 that will treat us to a nice dinner together.
Well, a dinner sounds nice. Oh.
I suppose a dinner with you is a pretty good incentive.
Oh, she's shy. She's shy. Are you shy?
See? I knew you'd come around. That being said, wish me luck and all that jazz. I'll be right back.
Kieran?
What? I'm the one who should be getting cold feet here, not you.
Just, you remember all the rules, right? Stay safe, okay?
Asa-chan, be realistic about this. What's an elevator gonna do? Bite me?
You could always get stuck. That's a realistic possibility, if anything.
I'm sure you'll figure it out if I do.
Okay, so, yep. Asahi is gonna get shitted on. First, Kirin is gonna get possessed. Then Asahi is gonna get shitted on. Just because our friend Kirin here doesn't want to lose a bet.
Now, be sure to stay away from the building, since we'd be breaking those majestic rules otherwise.
Right.
See ya in a bit.
Oh, okay, so I guess you can't play with two people around. You just gotta be one person. I stare as Kieran approaches the building's entrance, presses one of the intercom buttons, and moments later pushes the door open. How does she convince people to trust her so quickly, to let her into the building like that? She's gone from my sight before I know it, a faint click as the door closes behind her. There's a feeling of unease pooling in my stomach, all of this being a bad idea, probably the worst we've had yet. It just screams in my head. I'm so going to give Sapporo a piece of my own mind once all of this is over. It's not like I can really do much about it now, however. If I were to go after my girlfriend saying I've suddenly changed my mind, it would undoubtedly make her angry. My girlfriend, it still makes me all giddy just to think of her that way. But we snuck out of our houses through the window without our parents knowing, just to go through with all of this. If I had a problem with this whole crazy idea, I would have said something way earlier. It's too late now. Yep, it's too late now. It's time 12:13. I wrap my fingers around my phone and pull it from my pocket. As I do so, I see the screen shows 0013. It took us around an hour. I'm very sorry. It took us around an hour to walk here, and while I dreaded us even being here in the first place, I'm also not looking forward to walking all the way back, especially when it's bound to get colder as the night goes on. Perhaps we could use those $50 to get a ride home instead of a meal. Yeah, if only things worked that way. Yeah, so? With another sigh, I turn away and start to walk towards a small park located in the middle of this godforsaken district. I don't know why part of it is a playground. There can't be many kids here in the day, can there? But it is, and there's a slide as well as a pair of swings. I'll most likely freeze my ass off if I sit on one, though that would let me lift my feet off the ground for a bit, the cold, snowy ground. I decide to sit down on... What the hell did I just hear? I decide to sit down on the nearest one. And just like that, the uneasy feeling of having entered a... What was it Kirin called? A liminal space. She's so good with words sometimes. One of those places that feels a bit wrong. The feeling hits me. Anyway, making the hairs at the back of my neck stand up. Your mind usually associates playgrounds with children. Laughter, movement, and life in general is what they're designed for after all. So when you get to experience the total opposite of that, when you find yourself sitting in an empty, childless playground in the middle of the night, it doesn't feel right. Your mind associates it with something being off, something being wrong. Why are you here, Asahi? In a place you shouldn't be. So Kirin hasn't got back out yet. Absent-mindedly, my gaze wanders. Something at the other side of the street catches my attention. It's a vending machine. I happen to have a bit of change with me, and the idea of getting something hot to drink is suddenly a very alluring temptation. It's 1 a.m., guys. It's 1:15. I'm playing this on 1 a.m. It would undoubtedly make the waiting out in this cold less unpleasant. Please say it's a machine that has hot drinks as well as cold ones. I think I heard a swing. No? With my mind made up, I get back to my feet, checking the time more out of habit than actually curiosity again. 14. Only a minute's passed since Kirin disappeared into the building, and I'm both surprised and not really. The feeling of time passing slower than usual is normal when you obsessively wait for something, even more so when said waiting is physically uncomfortable. I'm going to the vending machine. I make my way towards the vending machine without a second thought. And I drink a hot cocoa. To my relief, its glowing buttons do intend to hold the promise of a hot drink. I decide to get cocoa. I'm usually more of a coffee person, but I'm in the mood for something sweet. My mind will not most likely appreciate the sugar rush right now too. It definitely doesn't have anything to do with the fact that this is Kirin's favorite drink. Cocoa. Yeah, it's about time I acknowledge the fact that I've started to consume more sweet stuff because of her. Girlfriends can be... I forgot that word. Even though she says I'm sweet enough as I am, it's only when there's a clunk of coins in the change slot that I realize the cocoa is a bit cheaper than the coffee, meaning that I'll be able to get a can for Kirin when she comes out too. That's a nice surprise. Yep. As I work on opening the bottle, I realize how warm and heavenly it feels in my hands. I wrap my hands around it, enjoying a few moments of bliss as the heat warms my fingers. I take a small sip, instantly happy with the taste. Being able to drink anything warm feels like a godsend right now. Satisfied, at least momentarily, I make my way back to the playground, intending to sit back at the spot I took up before. I reach the swing and settle back down. As I glance up again at the building Kirin slipped into minutes ago. My blood suddenly runs cold. A scene of sudden panic swarms my mind as I try to make sense of what I'm seeing. A building that's dead to the world, all pitch black with none of its lights shining through the windows anymore. Could all the residents have gone to sleep in the meantime? That's close to impossible, and I know it. A power outage, maybe? I quickly turn around and look at the other buildings around me. All of those seem the same as when we arrived, with the bright window still present here and there. So surely that can't be it. If the power was cut off, it would affect the whole street, wouldn't it? Or even several streets. Almost spilling my drink, I hastily reach for the phone in my pocket. What the hell? I blink, then close my eyes shut for a moment, certain that something's wrong with my eyesight. The time couldn't have just gone backwards. Yeah. A small sense of relief floods me as I quickly open my eyes again. It must have been a trick of the light before, or perhaps there was a glitch with my phone's display. Perhaps there is something wrong with me. Or perhaps Kirin is dead. Remembering what made me reach for my phone in the first place, I raise my head to look at the building before me once more. only to see it in its previous state. The lights are back on as if they were never gone to begin with. The unease in my stomach stays, though I know what I say. I'm pretty sure I couldn't have just imagined it. It's been 5 minutes since Kiran went into the building. Is that enough to ride through a bunch of floors? Would she be mad if I called her so soon? Dwelling on it suddenly feels stupid. Kiran is dead. I open up the calls app on my phone and there's her name at the top of the history. She'd called me just a couple of hours ago to confirm our plans for tonight. Admittedly, her name is also there for the call before that and the one before, and okay, I chat to her a lot, so one more call now can't hurt, right? I hit the redial button. I should have expected the call wouldn't connect. If she's still inside the elevator, there probably isn't any reception in there. So what options does that leave me with? Going in after her, waiting for another 5 minutes? I'd say you go in and die with her again. I stare at the building before me intently, afraid to avert my eyes anymore. It's like I'm hopeful my gaze, my constant observation, alone will make the light stay. I'm scared of the situation repeating itself. Sometime later, I realize that I've spent so long just holding my can and fretting about Kirin that my drink has gone from a nice hot drink to, well, undrinkable. Some drinks are not meant to be just kind of warm, and this is one of them. At least it kept my hands from freezing, I guess. 10 minutes passed. I feel only more cold and helpless. Why can't Kiran just come out of the building now, as if nothing has happened, and laugh at me for worrying too much? I call her again for good measure. Surprisingly, the call does go through this time.
Hello?
There was laughter. Shit, a bit creepy. I'm not prepared for what I hear. A woman laughing at the other end. There's something about it that disturbs me to the very core. It's definitely not Kiran's voice. Or is it? All of a sudden, realization hits me. Sapporo, the bed, everything. Now this. None of it could possibly— Shut up! None of it could possibly be real. All of this has to be a prank arranged by my classmates. And whether Kiran's in on it. Okay, so she thinks Asahi thinks it's a prank, but it ain't a prank. You're gonna die. She wouldn't do this to me, would she? The image of her wickedly smiling, amused face persistently pops up in my mind again. Confusion turns into anger. Before I know it, I'm on my feet, already marching to the building, determination boiling inside of me. There's an obstacle before I can get in, though, as I obviously don't have a key to the entrance door. What kind of excuse would be possible at this sort of hour? I stab at the button that I think Karen pressed and then almost immediately regret it. What if I press the wrong button? What if I press the right one and sound stupid when the other person asks who's there? What if— To my surprise, there's a click from the intercom and then a buzz as I'm let in without a single word being spoken. So Kiran didn't have to do sweet talk so Kiran didn't have to sweet talk anyone. I try not to dwell on the unexpected invitation as I shrug it all off on luck. Yeah, it's gonna get creepy from now on. As soon as the doors closed behind me, it occurs to me just how dark the inside of the building is. I know it's the middle of the night, but I'm not sure whether such a complete lack of light is normal. People live here, after all. There should be some signs of life. Buildings usually have at least a few lights on inside, don't they? It's unsettling. Although it doesn't make me as nervous as it used to, I know that my vision is going to adjust to the darkness in a moment, letting me navigate the place easily. Yeah, you have a fucking you have a phone. Why not use the torch? God damn it! I'm able to see a lot better in the dark compared to when I was still completely human, but it doesn't work instantly. Yeah, you're a cat. Cat girl. Shit. As I take a first few hesitant steps into the building, the lights flicker on with a harsh buzz. Of course, I'm being such an idiot. There are automatic lights in here. They come on when people move. Totally ordinary. It's just that I've never been in this building before. It stands to reason that it feels usually creepy to me, right? Especially if I think about why I'm currently here. All that considered, it feels like it takes longer for me to reach the end of the long hallway than it probably should. It's a dangerous time to let your mind wander into places nobody sane would want it wandering to. At least the building inside is noticeably warmer than the outdoors. It makes the whole situation slightly easier to bear. My hands and feet almost started to freeze off out there. The next thing I know, I stand before the elevator door rooted to the ground, with the sudden sensation of someone watching me. Look behind. What the fuck? Shit. Abruptly, I turn around, more panic exploding inside of me as the automated light picks the exact moment to cut out. Shit, it was a timed event. I didn't know what to do. My first instinct is to get my phone out, let it illuminate the sudden darkness of the corridor, and bastard knows what else is inhabiting it currently. Shit, there's nothing. Nothing that I'm able to see. Anyway, it's just the empty corridor, a row of closed doors along each side, seemingly the same as when I first entered it. There's nobody here. I don't feel any less on edge when I turn back in the other direction, bearing my back to all of that space again, pressing the elevator button as quickly as I can find it. The distant sound of machinery starting up pierces the unnerving silence, followed by a hum which indicates that the elevator is in motion. It's clearly on a different floor, so I wait for it to descend. Taking a deep breath, I try to calm myself. It feels like an eternity drags by as I wait for the thing to arrive. The doors finally slide apart with a slight scraping sound, and the small compartment finally opens up before me, completely empty. I'm not sure whether I should be surprised or not. A part of me hoped it wouldn't have to come to this, while another already expected for things to turn out this way. At this point, I decide to do the only sensible thing I can think of doing: get into the elevator, ascend to the highest floor, then make my way down the stairs. All in the hope of stumbling upon Kirin, possibly hiding from me on one of the floors. She ain't hiding, girl. She ain't hiding.